What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you another one, and this one is What If Brandon, the Wild Wolf, lived? Interesting topic. A lot of different things could take place if this actually happened. And that's what we're going to get into tonight. We're going to talk about exactly what would have happened if Brandon, the Wild Wolf, lived. What up to everybody in the chat? Let me say what up to the people I see right here real quick. We got Jenna S. is in the building rocking with us as always. Thank you. What up, Jenna? Beautiful, beautiful picture of yourself right there. Love it. Robert Smiley's up in the building rocking with us right there. Muhammad, my brother from another mother, is in this building rocking with us. Jessica Pacifica. I'm just gonna say Pacific. I don't know how you pronounce it with the I in the back. What up? What up to Eric C going on? What up to AK47 in the building, Rob? What up to Shay Bradley in here rocking? What up? Rip to Noah McDonald as always. Yes, indeed, Rip. The real Rick is in the building rocking with us right now. We're chilling. Red Lipstick Club is in here rocking with us right now. So, Lady Dre 30 is in this right now. So I will say this. So people have been asking. Let me answer these questions that people have been asking right off the bat. I have computer troubles. I'm trying to suss out right now. That is the reason why I have not been able to drop a video right now. But hopefully I can get that done this week, and then I'll be able to get these videos out for you and everything else. You know what I mean? Again. Also, if you aren't already, make sure you subscribe and you click that bell so you can be notified anytime I drop a new video. But yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm trying to work that out. Hopefully, I can work this out for you, and I can start making videos again. As I know I have missed a couple of episodes for a lot of different things, and it pains me to have done so. And I really wanted to do stuff on these episodes and everything else like that. And I know that you're looking right now. You might be seeing pictures on the screen and everything else. I am alone today. All right, Phil, we talked about this a little bit, that Phil most likely had to move. And this is Phil's moving week right now. So Phil's not joining me. It's just me by myself here. But before we do get started, we do have a couple of voicemails. So if you want to, leave a voicemail, you can. It's there. You know where it's at. But we got a voicemail from Jenna S. Let's play it.
Phil, Tony, it's Jenna S. I just saw the topic for today's What If, and I lost my shit. I'm so excited. I just wanted to call and tell you. Can't wait to catch the show at 6:30. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for
I'm so excited that I forgot to ask my question.
Oh.
And I guess my first question would be, and don't worry, there's going to be tons of super chats to ask more too, but do you think Brendan would have done exactly what Ned did for Lyanna and Jon? Ooh, I can't wait to hear what you guys think.
All right. Now, I wish that I could tell you exactly what Phil was thinking, but it's only me. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry that it's just me. I will say this. Do I think he would have did exactly the same thing? I don't think he would have did the exact same thing. And we're definitely going to get into all of that and everything else and talk about all that in this episode. Now, as I said, I'm not going to leave this up like this whole time with this playing. You will get to see the dime. Let's do that right now. I am in the building. Don't think I'm not. I am here. I'm rocking with you and stuff like that. But we will go back and forth, you know what I mean, and everything else from that. So we are here again. I'm doing this dolo, so I apologize if it's not the exact same format as it would be with someone else. Obviously, if I have somebody here with me and I could go back and forth with people, it's an easier time for me. But we've done this by ourselves for many years. You know what I mean? Many years. So we're gonna do it again. Let's just it'd be like old times. All right. So Jenna S. I remember my voice how I can tell you. She swears she's 31. Let's go with that. Red lips is that handsome man. Yes. I don't know about the handsome part, but the man is here. But we'll take it. What up, Teo is in the building rocking with us right now and everything else. All right, so the Don is here by himself, doing this topic by myself and everything else. The first, you know what? This is what we're gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. Since I'm by myself and everything else, if someone wants to join me to talk about what if Brandon Stark died, there's the link. I'm going to put it in there right now. And before I go into it, there's the link. You can come on here and rock with the Don tonight since the Don is solo. You can still leave voicemails. Same number as before. I don't know it offhand, and Phil will be giving them to me. I didn't say what up to LMR. I see my lady from the Lady and Don podcast is in the building. Let me say it. And we have someone from over here from rocking from Facebook. Dolores Rose is rocking from Facebook, and we are live on Teflon TV on Facebook. So just in case you cannot watch it on YouTube, you can always go there and everything else like that. Can we get Miss Duncan the Toll on? If she clicks that link, she can come on, and she wants to talk about this topic. This is a topic we'll have. We'll get somebody on here, and until then, I'm going to beat around the bush a little bit and see if we get somebody. We'll give it 5 minutes and see if someone wants to come on and talk the topic. So if you have a camera and you have a good connection, that's the only thing I'm asking for is a good connection. You know what I mean? Have a good connection. No staticky and stuff like that. You could jump on with the Don right now, and you could talk this topic. What if Brandon Stark lived? And if you want to get on Jenna S, you are more than likely you can get on there. You can definitely get on there if you want. Anyone wants to get on there, you can. People ask what my Cash App was. That is why it's on the bottom. So don't say, "Oh, I told him put his Cash App on there and stuff." Y'all asked for it. That's why I put it there. People asked me for it. All right. Just for the people who are probably watching later on, if people do watch later on, let me get right into this. Howdy boo to you, Miss Duncan the Tour. Howdy boo. All right. What if Brandon Stark lived? First thing we have to think about of Brandon Stark, if he did live, is how he would live. And I think it's pretty simple to say. All he has to do is not go to King's Landing, right? So we have this set up. Lyanna Stark kidnapped, taken away. No one knows where she's at. Then all of a sudden, here comes Brandon Stark, all hot-headed, leaves his wife, Catelyn Tully, to be, says, "I'll be back," rides down to King's Landing like a madman and screams, "Rhaegar, come out and die. Rhaegar, come out and die." Very confident this man was. And that's what I think people have to understand. Very, very confident. He was very confident that he could take Rhaegar. Very confident that one-on-one he could beat Rhaegar. What up to Carla Wade, all the way from the land down under. Definitely glad that you were here right there. Robert Smiley, Polo Ladon. You know how I get down. You know how I get down. All right, we have someone here. I see her here, and she looks like she's in workout clothes and everything. Her connection is a little slow. All right, we're gonna. I see it stuttering a little bit, but when she's ready, we'll try to get her in here and see if she can see if she can get in because it's all over the place right now. I see the ceiling, I see everything, but we do have someone in there. I see her very close to. I see eyeballs and walking around and stuff. So let's see if we can bring her in here. All right, she's walking around. She has sat down. All right, she's sitting down. We see her mouth. She have to adjust it so we can see her face. And when up, I see her tongue. Very cute tongue at that, but it's a tongue nevertheless. All right, there we go. I think we can take it from. Let's add it to the stream. All right, Jenna S in the building. What's going on?
Hi.
Hi. How are
I can't believe I'm on here. This is so cool.
You are on here. You are on here. That is
what's going on, guys. See? I'm sorry I look awful. I just finished working out. I finished my hula hoop so fast so I could come on. This is so much fun. So sorry I missed.
Well, I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy to welcome you here. Your first time on Teflon TV. So glad that you are here right now. All right, let's go through it. So, gentlemen, we would like to talk to you maybe at the end, but let's get into this topic right now. So, Rhaegar, Brandon Stark, the hot-headed guy himself. I take it that you're well versed in Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire, correct? Right?
Yeah, I've read all the books, and I watched the show, and I powered through the show.
All right, there we go. We got AK-47 rocking with us too. All right, and she's in a cafe or something.
It was scary.
She's still fixing her camera
Great
angle. We can
ending,
barely
but
see her in there. Barely
Yeah, hold
see
on. Let
her,
me adjust my brightness.
but she'll get all that taken care of. All right, Jenna, we're gonna ask you this question while AK is doing her thing here. When we seen Brandon go down to King's Landing, when in his fury, looking to, did he deserve to get what he got by doing that, or do you think that it was just overkill? Jenna, can you hear me? I don't know if she's frozen or not. She must be frozen. Oh, she is off. All right, so Jenna has dropped off. She must have froze up and everything else. So she must not have that good of a connection. I will say, if you can, come on. I would like to have anyone on, but make sure that your connection, try to get your connection on point. You know what I mean? Try to make sure that connection is on point and everything else, and try to make sure that, so we can have you on there. AK, are you there? All right, AK is not there.
Un momento, un momento.
All right, all right. I got to get the show started here. It's already 11 minutes deep. I got to start going and everything else. All right, so if you ask me, Brandon Stark got exactly what he deserved. There's no reason that you can jump down there, go to King's Landing, and truly think that you can call out the Crown Prince. Not only call him out by name, but just stand there and then just say, "Oh, you should die." Like, just say that. Who are you to say to the Crown Prince that you should die? What do you think about that, AK? Did Brandon Stark get what he deserved?
I hate to admit it, but yeah, I love how Stark, but some of them be way too extra for their own good. You went to the Crown Prince in his city, at his castle, yelling in the courtyard for him to come out and die. What did you think would happen, sir?
Yeah, I just don't.
It don't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't. They stopped him. They didn't want stopped him and allowed him to do it. That's why I blame it all on his father and everything else, because his father should not have allowed him to do that. So let's take it right from the top. If this man did live, I think it's easy to say he just doesn't go down there, and that's how we could say he lived. That was what led to his death. So the number one thing we get from that is that we're going to say that Rhaegar Stark is going to live then too.
Yeah.
The only reason Rhaegar died is because of his son. You agree with that?
Definitely.
All right. So now we got to look at the situation we're in right now. If we have Brandon Stark alive and Rhaegar Stark alive, most likely the other events may play out exactly the same way. We may get the same stuff going on when we deal with everything else. You're still going to have Rhaegar and Lyanna down at the Tower of Joy. You don't have them going down there, but it could be a chance that Lyanna lives from this whole situation when it's all said and done. You might see Lyanna live in this because there's no war. There's no Rhaegar war. Unless you do think there would still be a war. Do you believe that a war would still happen if they still had? Because now Robert Baratheon doesn't have, if Rickard's not dead, does Robert Baratheon have enough support to go to war with the king?
No. Robert's very charismatic, but in that situation, the allies that they were able to make is what solidified them having some numbers to combat King's Landing. With him alive, Rickard's still alive. Lyanna, just like the last one you and Phil did, she still has a chance of living as well. Her storyline, I think, will go with what you and Phil said last time. It's highly probable that she'll live and will be raising Jon in King's Landing. Ned possibly ends up marrying Ashara, but for the battle, that's sticky. Robert can pull some hands, but I don't know that Rickard would have actually allowed House Stark to go into that, even with Lyanna still missing.
Because if it was smart and the guy was using smart, because now you would have this. The only way I'd see the wars like this is if Catelyn's father wanted the war. because it would have to be them, because now Robert wouldn't be able to do it. Oh, you took my wife. It's not enough. When you killed the people from the north, when you killed Rhaegar, sorry, you killed the brother, that was what was the clincher to get everybody out there.
That pulled everybody in. Yeah.
Now Hoster Tully, he's a greedy man. You know that the wedding is going to happen. So you're going to use Catelyn is going to marry Brandon. So this could be if Hoster Tully's saying, listen, because if the war happened, it would have to be a war from the north. They would have to be the ones who said it. It wouldn't be known as Robert's rebellion. It would be known as Brandon's rebellion or the Stark's rebellion. That's the only way I could see that war. And Hoster Tully, you know, he may say, listen, if he takes the war, Catelyn's on the Iron Throne.
Yeah. And we know he's an ambitious man.
Yeah. So I would think if there was going to be a war, it would have to play out that way. Robert wouldn't be the vocal part of the war. He would just be a foot soldier to the Starks.
Yeah. And actually, you know, pointing that out, that is pretty much the thing that kind of solidifies that there wouldn't necessarily be a war, at least not at that time. Because, and I'm thinking about the Southern Ambitions theory, Rickard was definitely putting his kids in strategic locations with marriages that would do nothing but benefit House Stark. And he's a thinking man, unlike, you know, his Wild Wolf oldest son. He actually can pull off the long game if he would have lived to do it in the story. I think things would have been a hell of a lot different. That's the one linchpin that really changes how all of this plays out.
It does. And I think it comes down to whether Lyanna, they can get to her and she survives, or she dies. Because they can get to her and she survives, then Rickard may be, listen, I already got a daughter who's going to sit the Iron Throne.
Exactly.
Whose husband's going to sit the Iron Throne. So I'm good with that. But if she dies, then you might see Hoster Tully say, well, wait a second, Rickard, let's take a look at this right now. You know,
let's tally up the numbers.
Yeah, we could take these guys right now. We got the support of the Baratheons. You got me. You're gonna have the Vale of Aaron. I still think that would have to happen. You know, would they side with them? Would the Vale of Aaron go?
Absolutely. The Vale,
even without the deaths and without the, because he basically said he did it because they wanted to kill Ned and Robert, so that's why they did it. So if they didn't have that threat, would he still be willing to go to war with them?
If it was starting and playing out somewhat to how it was with Brandon not going to King's Landing, it is still possible that John Arryn, he would put in with them just on the strength that those were essentially his sons when he was fostering them. He has a lot of love for both of them. I mean, kind of especially for Robert, the way I read in between the lines. So he wouldn't even need a marriage pact or anything to do that. Just, they trying to kill my kids? Okay, no, it's on. Let's go.
Yeah, that was Hoster Tully who demanded that, right? He's like, if you want allegiance from my house, you want me to go to war, you got to marry my daughter.
Yep, your brother's dead, so now you got to take this marriage proposal, otherwise I ain't giving you nothing. And it may be tinfoil, but I'm of a mind that, you know, I'm still with Bar. Shout out to Bar too. He had to marry Catelyn off quick, because just like he knew to give, you know, that Tansy tea or whatever it was to Lysa, he was banking on making sure that the kid growing in her stomach right then and there was taken care of. So he pushed Ned into that shit.
Yeah, so if you don't know what she's talking about, Bar from Bar 2, my first partner I ever worked with, first one who ever agreed to work with me. Shout out to her. She made a theory video a long time ago saying that Robb Stark was Brandon's child. I agree with that. I did a remix of that video. You can look it up if you want to see, because her videos are no longer on YouTube. You can look up mine. I did a remix of it, and obviously I said in the beginning, I said that it was her theory, because I always give credit where credit is due. And I did not go into as much depth as she did with it, but you can get the gist of it from the words from the books of why she feels that way, that Brandon is actually the father of Robb Stark, and Catelyn was pregnant when he left, and that is the reason why she had to get married to Ned fast, to make sure that baby didn't.
So they could catch it before she started showing.
Yeah, but if you definitely look at that video, look that video up. What up to OTD? I see you out there. What up to Santivia and Major? I didn't give a chance to shout y'all out. So what up to y'all? Gold Soul Radio. I see you too. Just Britt is in the building, rocking with us right now. See y'all too. You know what I mean? So yeah, check out that video, and I 100% support that theory.
Is my camera blinking on your end?
Yeah, you are blinking. You like Matrix right now.
Man, I swear Miss Minute's still holding a grudge because I said she was an asshole. Yeah, she's trying to come erase me from the timeline. You know she petty as hell, man.
She is petty. Right, so the question we have here is: would Eliza and John still be married? That was, I said, Tully. He made that decision.
Mm-hmm.
If the Vale is willing to join the fight without it, and he's already in it, there's a good chance it doesn't happen. But I'm going to say I would still think that would probably go down the same way. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Hold on. This damn camera is distracting me.
It is all right. It is all right. We can.
All right. I'm sorry. Ask that again real quick.
All right. So do you think that Eliza and John would still be married?
No.
Nope. You don't think that marriage happened?
I don't think it would have happened because and John Aaron, again, he just did it for Ned and Rob. He isn't going to need to be convinced to marry Eliza. And this, again, it's part of the Southern ambitions with all the kids of the great houses that were of similar age around that time. Rickard, he was trying to get all of them betrothed to somebody in each great house. And they did it so well that it would have completely shut out House Targaryen from those alliances. So I'm thinking something like that could have still happened. And if Tywin saw the weakness and he knew it would benefit, then the match with Jaime and Lysa would have worked.
No doubt about it.
And let me refresh my, let me refresh this real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, AK's in a different time stream right now.
Told you, Miss Minute's coming for me, man.
You know, I'm going to say, all right, we'll solo me real quick until she gets that fixed. She'll come back in. But before we go in, I had a dream, and I started thinking about something. I don't know if anyone's ever said this before, but this is my theory in life real quick. I'm going to give y'all a life theory while AK does that before we get into this. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking about dreams. And what if dreams are really just like the multiverse lives coming into your head? Like you're tapping into the multiverse and you're seeing lives from the multiverse of other lives, like you. I mean, I think that could be a possibility. I know it sounds crazy, but I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe it's multiverse you, and it's creeping in to your dreams, and that's when you're tapping into the multiverse or something like that. All right, AK is adjusting her dragon glass candle. You're correct. She's getting that done. I see her picture there. We'll see it. If I add it, you're back.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave my actual face off the screen for a bit just to see if that settles it down. All but right. I did hear what you were just talking about, and it's actually very funny. The universe works in strange ways. Me, Lauren, and Installation 00 actually had a stream about that. Dreams actually being part of the multiverse, because I've had some very random ass dreams. That it seems like it was happening to me, but another me someplace else.
Could be. It could be a multiverse. Now I didn't see that. I didn't see that episode with Lauren and Installation 00. What was he said?
00.
Installation 00.
Yeah.
Part 65. I didn't.
Right. I told her, I was like, bro, you can't call this asking questions anymore. If it's a weekly thing, do it. And actually, I do believe they did change it last week to where it was just a cool podcast.
Part 102.
And and I encourage everyone in the chat, go watch all of those parts because it's some really good discussions.
There you go. Let me say thank you for the super chat, Fernandez. He always supporting me, man. I truly appreciate it. What up, Tef and AK? Cheer. happy hump day to y'all, or happy hump day to you, my brothers. I really, truly, is very generous, man, and I really appreciate that, man. Straight up, without a doubt. All right, so we are here talking about Brandon, and make sure you do put that like a button up. You know what I mean? Really need that. That is what goes on and everything else like that. Jackie C says she's been a man in her dreams before. Listen, this is multiverse stuff. This could be
Yeah,
a
I
man.
mean, I would question it if you never were a man. Honestly, that's how the multiverse is supposed to work, though.
Yeah, it could be. I think it should be some multiverse shit. I don't know. It could be. That's what I was just thinking about. So, maybe this is just the multiverse creeping into your head when you fall asleep and you're seeing lives from other people in the multiverse that living out. I don't know. All right, but as long as I'm the prime Tony Teflon and Don, I don't care about the other ones. I'm the real one.
It's like the whole concept of deja vu.
It could be.
You feel something has happened before. You've been here before. It probably wasn't you, but another you somewhere in the ether.
It could be. Definitely could be. All right, back to this.
Random. Yeah, back on topic. How do we even get here?
All right, because I was just trying to do a little intermission. We got another super chat. Let me good from Jenna S. Thank you so much. Very generous. I'm sorry I broke the rule. Next time I don't want to mess up the flow. You guys go okay. I think
you didn't break no rule.
Tywin would try to hook Cersei. So you think Tywin would try to hook Cersei with Bran? All right, that's a very good one. You did not break the rule. Everyone, listen, anyone who ever comes in always has to go through what they go through. You know what I mean?
Technical difficulties.
That always happens. No one has ever come in and had it perfect from a time. So that is just the way it goes. I'm just going to solo myself. You can still hear AK because she's here. Because she's not showing us up anyway. So
I just didn't want to watch it. Make up the thing start blinking again. Hold on.
Yeah,
we'll try it. Nope. See, it's blinking already. Nope.
All right. We'll do solo. We'll do the solo.
I'll just be faceless.
Yeah, we can still hear you and stuff like you're on the phone. That's all. It's like you're hanging out on the phone. All right, but thank you so much. So, do you think that Tywin would try to hook up Cersei with Bran? That's a little bit ahead of time, but I think that Brandon would already be committed to Catelyn. I don't think there's any way to break that. Marriage. What do you think?
No, that's an absolute fact, which is very interesting because that could end up in Cersei still being married to Robert.
Cersei is married to Robert, and that you still, and so only way we see this play out. So let's say this couple of things right now. So there's no Brandon Stark, there's no Arya, and there's no Sansa. That's all gone.
Yeah. Sadly, that hurts my heart so much.
Yeah, all of them are gone. Them people will never get. There's new Rickon never gets born. There's none of that. And
none of those kids get born.
No, none of them. It's only Brandon. Only Rob. Rob is the only one. And John. Those are the only two. So,
John and Rob. Yep.
So let's say that somehow the war still happens. Let's go that way. That they get mad. Lyanna still dies. So now I think it's a war of the North versus the king and the crown. I still think that, it would play out similar. I think they would have had an easier time to beat Rhaegar and them if Brandon was alive. I don't think you go through all these battles of the bells and people trying to make it all the way back to the north and rally the troops and everything else. They're going to have the army right off the bat.
Yeah, because they can get it ready. They could get it ready a lot faster. And getting past the neck, House Frey is a vassal of House Tully. If Hoster says, yo, let them people cross, I don't want to hear none of your fuck shit, Frey, and we'll deal out whatever needs to be dealt out later. There's no future wedding pacts or anything that have to be made with Walder Frey. He just takes the order from his lord, and everybody gets to back and forth to the north as needed. A lot faster than they did.
And there ain't no late Walter Frey. Because you can be like, listen, you going to pack your man up and you coming right now.
Right. Hoster is so petty. I feel like he would actually accompany Rickard and Brandon and everybody back north. And he would just hang out at the Twins for everybody to come back. And then forcibly take all of that Frey army with him. Like Walter wouldn't have had a choice at all.
They have no choice. If also Hoster was there, like, listen, you're coming. and that's it, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna execute you, man. Because he commanded the bottom line. He commanded respect, a lot of respect. You know what I
That's
mean? Just is saying, would Brandon hate Rhaegar even if he knew he didn't nap Lyanna? So that comes down to, does he know that? If she dies before, he wouldn't know that. If
yeah.
she
If she
doesn't die
lives.
and she could tell him, then I probably don't think so.
No,
I think
it's going to be the same situation like with Ned. Once he would hear that she actually left by choice, this is what she wanted, Ned knew she didn't want to marry Robert, so that would automatically click for him. So once Brandon hits those two pieces of the puzzle, I don't think he has beef at all. And Rhaegar definitely isn't going to have beef because his daughter is about to be the second queen on the throne.
yeah, Rickard. Listen, I see the Hoster Tully pushing to get Catelyn on the Iron Throne, because let's say if the because I think they would beat them anyway. I think they would beat them. I think it'd be even an easier time for them to beat them. I think they would take the throne, and if they did take the throne, number one thing I think we see here is that it's not Robert's throne. I don't think Robert Baratheon
No,
gets the Iron Throne.
he wouldn't have even wanted it.
No, it would have never been that, because I think that they would have beat them. I think they would have beat them easier. It would even have been as many battles. It would have been real quick. They would have really beat
Yeah,
them. They would have had
it
everyone.
wouldn't have needed to be that many.
No, and they would have went down there, because he went down there with a little army. Rickard Stark with a little bit of army, and got him a little shit. If he went down there with the whole North, he's got everyone. And look what Rob did. Rob was running through them as a child, running through them.
Right. What was Rob, like 14, 15?
Yeah,
and he's running full-scale battles on a well-seasoned veteran commander. And he's spanking them every time they meet.
Because those northern people are nuts. And them dudes, like,
yeah, they are.
It's a different level of fighting. So when
that's what happens. That's what happens when you grow up in the mean streets of the North, man. It's freaking rough out there.
They're not playing. These dudes is, like, they're like, I wouldn't call it, but they're kind of Dothraki-ish when it comes to a situation like that. Like, they are kind of like, they're not playing. These dudes is going down there that, they're about that life.
Look, man, right. Just remember what they said to Stannis. When winter comes, she really fucks you hard. But this right here, no, this is just a little love tap. Just letting you know that she's on her way.
Yeah,
and this is when they're in like negative 10-degree weather with snow up to their knees. These guys are up there laughing about Stannis not being able to handle the cold.
Yeah, without that. So I think we can easily say that at this point, there's a good possibility they sack King's Landing, overthrow the Targaryens, and I would think that, I think that Brandon Stark would sit the Iron Throne.
How long?
Would it be Brandon or would it be Rickard?
The way their world works, it possibly would be Brandon, because again, Hoster is going to be in Rickard's ear, and that might be, his full payment for the support he gets in troops. So it probably would be Brandon, but I think Rickard would highly think about taking it himself. Although when the similarities come between him and Ned, he likes the North. He was trying to put his kids in strategic locations in the South, but I don't think it was in his plans to ever leave the North. And a Stark must always be in Winterfell. So if Brandon, if they win the rebellion, Brandon takes the throne, he still has an heir in Ned. And the Winterfell must always have a Stark. He's not going to live forever, so he's going to prep Ned for all of that.
That's what I think. I think Ned would then get Winterfell. And listen, everybody's favorite thing happens. Catelyn Stark becomes the queen of Westeros, and this went down like this. But I know everyone is so happy, especially Gray. I know Gray Areas, if she was watching on the low.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, and I feel okay saying this on Gray's behalf. Obligatory fuck Catelyn Tully. So whatever, she ends up on the throne. It's a possibility. I'll give you that, but I still don't like her.
She would be Catelyn would be the queen of Westeros. Catelyn Stark, queen of Westeros.
I mean, she look. She was always in for the South, man. You saw how happy she was when she thought she'd be going back, and then Ned was like, "Nah, you got to stay here and watch the kids. They too young. A Stark has to be in Winterfell. What are you talking about?" She was so distraught.
Let me read. Thank you so much, beautiful Jenna S, for another generous super chat. If Ares had not been nuts and allowed Brandon and Rhaegar to go to first blood, think Brandon would have won. All right, so let's say so Rhaegar wasn't there, but let's say he was there and he fought a duel with Brandon Stark. Brandon's pretty confident that he could beat him. Do you think that Brandon would have won that fight one-on-one?
I would give him a small, slight edge over Rhaegar, but the only thing we know about Brandon in fighting is that he kicked Peter Baelish's ass, and anybody, a 5-year-old at that time, could have kicked Peter's ass. So I can't take that to know that he's a great fighter. We know he liked to see blood on his sword, but fighting sword ain't the way what they were talking about in that situation.
No, not in that situation. But I would say this: it comes across that he was not fucking around. Like he was, like he.
Oh no, yeah, he's going down there.
Like he was the perfect heir. Like he could fight. He's a handsome. He's big. Like he was like the perfect heir. You know what I mean?
He is,
and
but
Ned
then there's Rhaegar.
Not as good as his brother. And Catelyn says it that Ned's nowhere as tall as his brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's nowhere as big as his brother. And Brandon's also older, so that could be an intimidating. Because when we go to the tourney at Harrenhal.
Is Brandon older than Rhaegar?
I think so. Yes. I think Brandon is older than Rhaegar because he's older than Robert. He's older than Ned. He's older than Robert, and I think he's older than Rhaegar too. I would have to look up to see the exact age.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact dates of their birthdays,
but I do believe he's older because listen, Brandon at the tourney of Harrenhal was like the man at the tourney of Harrenhal. Like, everyone was sweating him. Ashura Dane, like he grabbed up Ashura Dane. You know what I mean? And had his way with her. Like he was that type of guy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not doubting him on that front, but
I'm saying
my only thing with that is
all right. So real quick, I'm gonna cut.
Go ahead.
But because Sir Barristan says, if Stark had not, and we have another super chat from General get to it. He said if Stark had not, defiled her, disgraced her, right? She was disgraced by Stark. You know what I mean? I mean, if he really felt that way, how come he didn't try to fight Brandon? He didn't try to, defend her. He didn't try to go up there and say, hey, you know what I mean? You fucking with this chick. You shouldn't have done that. I'm over here like that. He didn't say anything else like that. And we got 70 people watching here live and only 40 likes. That's not good. If you can, please hit that thumbs up button. That's the only way these shows will get spread out there and everything else. We get more people in here and everything else like that. So please do that. So I'm gonna go out there and say that because I've never heard of Rhaegar in the melee, like being this great melee fighter. You know what I mean? I've heard of him doing a lot of different things. Bridge 4 is in here. Ask Bridge. Bridge, who do you think would have won, Rhaegar or Brandon? I'm gonna go with Brandon. I think Brandon would have won the fight. I think I just really think he would have beat him one-on-one.
He is a big dude. I'll give you that. But Rhaegar, like, what is Rhaegar like? 30 of the greatest people ever in our reality at their best times like 10 warrior levels and personality and all the things that we know Rhaegar can do. I'm pretty damn sure that he knows how to handle a sword. He may not have gone out for any melee things at the tourney, but maybe that's just because he had other shit to do and he didn't want to show off. Ned don't like going to tourneys and fighting either, but we know he could fight.
Yeah. So Bridge says coin flip, but I lean towards Brandon. I lean towards Brandon. Now, so we're going to take this
that's fair.
Yeah, I lean towards him too. I'm with you on that one. Jenna S says, do you think that Benjen would still go to the wall? So that would be the thing. Benjen is in front of Ned, right?
Would he really have a reason to go though?
Because if that's the case, Ned may go to the wall.
Yeah. See, I'm wondering like what would be.
They never say why Brandon went to the wall. They never say the exact reason he gave for going.
Yeah.
So he would.
The only thing I could think of is him being guilty.
Yeah, because he would be the
and
heir.
He knew about Lyanna.
Yeah. Jenna S says if he helped Lyanna escape. Well, if that's the case, and that's why he did it, because he didn't want to get caught for helping Lyanna escape and do all that. most likely she had to get away. It seems like someone could have helped him. He could have helped him. Benjen is younger. Is he
Yeah,
younger?
Benja's the baby. Yeah,
Oh,
Benja's the baby.
all right. So he does not have the claim. Sorry about that. He looks older in the show than Sean Bean. Yeah, no, he will have no claim to a throne. So does he still go to the wall? I don't know, unless they can
If
marry him off to someone else.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, and he wouldn't necessarily need to even be married off. Even if they win, they take the throne.
Yeah.
The only reason I could see him going to the wall is that he feels bad about the people that did have to die for him helping his sister to roll out. If everybody comes home though, I can't grasp on what exactly would be his motivation to leave when 90% of his family is back home and still doing shit.
It just comes down to why he went to the war. We need to know. And if it's because of something with Lyanna and Rhaegar, then he'd still have that same guilt. But, I don't know if he wouldn't have to worry about it right then at that particular time. So I don't know if he goes to the war. I think he probably stays. Jenna S., another super chat. Thank you so much. I think he confessed to Ned, and Ned told him to take the black. That's my 2 cents. What do you think? You think Ned told him strictly that, hey, take the black, bro? So nothing happens to you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. One of my headphones cut out. Thought I'd dropped the whole thing. So I couldn't hear the beginning of what you asked.
She's saying, Jenna S. is asking, I think he confessed to Ned, and Ned told him to take the black.
There's a high possibility of that too. That is a theory that I've seen over the years. And it's the interaction between Ned and Benjen when they're at the feast when Robert first gets to the north in the book. It seems like, they're brothers, but you can tell there's something off between them. They're not connecting like they used to when they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible he may say something. I mean, with his dad being alive, he may say something to his dad and be like, yo, I knew this was happening. I'm sorry. We didn't think it would go this far. We didn't think so many people would be hurt or a rebellion would have to happen. Ricard is like the north of the Northerners, so he very likely could send him to the wall.
Yeah, he could. He could go to the wall, and he may not.
I mean, yeah, that's another thing.
If it's a political thing, and he's not the heir to Winterfell, but if he could get him to go somewhere, I think he'd be willing to get him to go somewhere. I think he'd be willing to get him to marry someone. Now, I can't tell you who he's marrying right off the bat.
We'd have to go into the family trees deep to find
what
that.
I mean? But if there's a way, I mean, because Cersei is out there, and Ned's out there, and I think so. Then you have Ashura Dane out there. I don't know if Ashura Dane. I don't think she liked Ned like that, like she wanted to marry. I don't think she liked.
No, I don't see any scenario where Ashura would have gone north for any reason.
Yeah, I don't see that situation like that going on. I think that he's marrying a Frey. Listen.
Oh, damn! Why you gotta do him like that?
That's a possibility though for that crossing. I mean, I don't think that Hudson Tully needs that for it to go down for them to get across. But just to make things right, I could see them giving him a Frey.
Yeah, it's possible.
But the Frey is like to the Frey, is that really a good marriage? Like,
no, it's not.
He's got no castle. He's got no nothing. Unless they win the war and then they take the castles from the people that won the war. Now, they win the war, they may take, a couple. They may take the Tarly spot. They may take their seat and give that to Brandon. They could take High Garden. You
can absolutely bring the spoils of war into this one. So they still keep Storm's End.
Mm-hmm.
The Riverlands are pretty much fine because Hoster is in charge of that. The Vale is fine because John Aaron is there. The Westerlands, fine.
He could marry
Margaery.
Do you think
maybe they might tap Brienne for that? She's a little older than Benjen, but just off the top of my head, kids that would have been in that age range back then, It seems plausible.
Yeah, I mean Marjorie's possibility, so that they can keep their name on it. The offer Marjorie up. I mean, it's
That's if they
Marjorie.
manage to keep Highgarden.
Yeah, I'm saying they would take Highgarden. They could be like, listen, we're going to take this from you, and they could be a deal like, hey,
And then make the marriage. Well, she'd basically be a hostage, but yeah, that would be the
yeah,
marriage
make
fact.
that marriage like, yo, you're gonna, because I don't think she's with Stannis' brother at this time.
No, she has no reason to try to forge anything with Renly.
Yeah, so I
Now.
think that would maybe the thing. Maybe Benjen gets Highgarden and marries Marjorie for Highgarden.
Possible. With Benjen, there's so many routes you can go by because we only know a handful of things about him and what happened after he went to the wall. That's it. So he's lightweight a wild card in the whole situation.
Mm-hmm. So No Name is saying, why would Brandon and Rhaegar fight there? Ken, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I don't know if you're just getting here.
Yeah, I think No Name just came in.
We have felt that things would still play out the same way if Lyanna dies. They didn't get to her in time. They would still believe the lie that Robert told that she was kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
So then it would just be a war, and that's why it would go down. It would just be a whole war and everything else, and that would be it. Because Rhaegar had the chance, why didn't he try to send word to Ned and say, "I love your sister"? Blah blah. Why didn't he do that? Rhaegar, he could have did that.
That again is the nonsense. Rhaegar could have sent, keep the main Kingsguard that he had at the Tower of Joy, fine. But if you send Arthur Dayne with a message to be read by Ned Stark, Brandon Stark, Rickard, whoever is actually in captaining in their regime, they're going to get that and they're going to trust that it is actually from Rhaegar, because Arthur Dayne wouldn't be doing no nonsense to try to work something out or try to trap anybody anywhere. That could have squashed this whole thing before it even started. But Rhaegar didn't think to do that, and he's not a dumb person. He's very, very smart, so I don't know why that never happened.
All right, and we have another super chat. Thank you again from Jen S. Love you. Says, how do you think Brandon would have handled Varys? All right, so we'll go through this whole thing. I don't think the problem would be Varys because listen, though he may have survived that war, doesn't mean
they stay in King's Landing. No, okay. Yeah. You see how at King's Landing, it was basically a Lannister fort because like 90% of those guards were actually Lannisters and in Lannister garb. Brandon would have squashed all that. If you're not from the north or from the Riverlands, you're gone. He might not kill you, but you definitely losing your job. You're out. He's not going to let anything like that happen. He's going to surround himself with as many northern people and Riverland people that are loyal to, Catelyn mostly, but then to him because he's the king and that's who she's married to. I don't think Varys even becomes a player in the game if Brandon takes the throne.
No, I think Varys would get executed right off the bat.
He's gone, and forget even years to come. Forget about Baelish making it to be Master of Coin. He's not going any damn where near King's Landing. He doesn't have no in like that.
Only if Catelyn talks to him and says, "Please, Brandon, I grew up with him. He's harmless. Don't worry about him. He's good with money." Blah, blah. I could see Catelyn convincing him to put him on as like the money guy. You know what I mean? Just to say, hey.
Would Peter even think to go to her like that though? Because the only reason it worked is because he was in Liza's head. And Liza was in love with him. So she pulled all those strings to get him to be Master of Coin.
Yeah, because she had the connection with John.
Yeah, I don't think that connection is going to work. I mean, he might try, but I don't think it would work with Catelyn. I don't think she would want him there to jeopardize anything. I mean, for as much as y'all know, I don't like her. Catelyn's not stupid. She if Ned would have taken the throne in the show and she would have been queen, she would have been good enough to be in his ear, like, bruh, stop the other politics. This is what it is. This was what needs to happen.
I could see, because we've seen it already that, that when Catelyn went down there, that she, told Ned to trust him. You know what I mean?
in that one situation because it was highly connected to her.
So I think I could see that again. Like, please, he's harmless. You stabbed him. You almost killed him. He's just a harmless boy. Just do it. I could see him making his way on the small counter, and once he did, then he could stop operating. It could be Brandon's downfall in the end. He could be the one in the end that actually
In the
kills
long
Brandon.
term, you think he could? Well, let's see.
You know, he would.
You know what? That's almost like the rebellion starting in the first place. That could possibly still happen, and that could be the catalyst later on down the line. But instead of Robert, it's Brandon.
All right, so we got Jenna S. Thank you for the super chat again. So what happens to Fagon if Brandon's ice, pun intended, plunges into Varys?
What happens with
I promise
Fagon?
you we'll get to Fagon and all that a little bit down the line.
Yeah, there's a few more plot points.
Yeah, we gotta
ahead of that. We still haven't completely divvied up the kingdom yet.
Yeah, we gotta work our way to Fagon and the White Walkers and all. We still have stuff going on to deal with that situation and everything else.
Do you think Tywin ever ends up being Hand again if Starks are on the throne?
No, I think it would be the same person because they
trust. Still be Jon Arryn, yeah.
Yeah, they trust him. It would be who else would they? I don't see anyone else in the North. I still think Jon Arryn.
Yeah, because Rick, I don't think Rhaegar's gonna leave the North, and Ned's now the heir, so he has to go back.
Yeah, he's got to go home. He's got to go back there. I think that's what it would be. So
Tywin's gonna have to scheme another day to get Cersei married off.
Yeah, Cersei. Who is she gonna marry?
I'm saying the most eligible bachelor besides Ned is still gonna be Robert. That could literally still be a thing.
It would somehow have to be a Robert Baratheon Cersei marriage. I think it still would go down.
Benjen, I don't think it would be Benjen, Jenna, just because Cersei is a hella prissy Southern lady. She's not going to see going to the North as any benefit. And for real, if you think about how Tywin thinks, Tywin's not going to approve that. He's not even going to think about that.
He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have any castle. He doesn't have nothing. So he would have to, if it was Benjen, it has to take a place from someone who has a castle. That's why I think Highgarden would be. They would
give it to Benjen.
Benjen. Cersei's going to want someone already with a castle. The only person with a castle is Robert Baratheon. Mm-hmm. And he said no for Hand. Maybe Benjen for Hand.
Oh, Benjen for Hand? No,
I don't think.
No,
it'd be Hand. To me, it's always going to be someone a little bit older than you.
Yeah, I mean,
more knowledge.
They say Tywin was the youngest Hand ever picked, and I think what was he in his mid-20s when he came to be Hand? Yes. But Tywin's a special case though because that dude is smart as a whip. He's been ruling. What'd you say?
He was really good friends with the king. That was his boy.
Yeah, and that's what got him in the door. I mean, he ran that job. As much as I don't like him sometimes, game recognized game. He had that shit on lock. But Benjen would not be able to fill that role. Not at all. Jon Arryn would be the only choice.
Yeah, and Hustle Tully, could he do it? I could see Hustle Tully being Hand.
He would try to scheme to get there.
I could see him being Hand. I could see him.
I don't know. I don't know that he would really want to be there. I mean, it's possible though because his daughter's there, so he could put some regent in charge of the Riverlands. I mean, Tywin was still lord of the Westerlands when he was Hand.
He's got the Blackfish.
Yeah.
He would just have the Blackfish.
That's probably the only scenario where he could get the Blackfish to take any type of command over anything to do with the Riverlands. That's the only situation where Blackfish would be like, all right, damn it, you cunts, fuck, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah, he could put the Blackfish there, and then that would just be the end of it, and then he would just be Hand. I could definitely see him being Hand.
Yeah. You talked me into it. I can see that one.
Yeah, I could definitely see that going down there. So I think we may have. KP has got a question. Hey, KP, I didn't get a chance to acknowledge my brother KP since he's.
Oh yeah, what's good, KP? West Indian love, brother. You know how we do.
We've got much love for him. We got much love. Where does Viserys and Daenerys go? We did not discuss that at all.
That's also
they may have
a situation that could end up the same. I mean, okay, let's go down the line. If it's Brandon that wins, he gets his sister back, gets a nephew. If she lives, they're both going to the North. Rhaella, unfortunately, is still dead. Ares, obviously, he's chopped. He's not going anywhere. His wife possibly would have still had Dany on Dragonstone, but see, this is the difference between Brandon and Robert. Brandon wouldn't necessarily care too much about killing kids. He would definitely banish them and send them away. But I think he would be somewhat of the same mind with Ned. Like, nah, just push them out, get them the hell out of there. And Varys is definitely gone, so he's over there scheming with Illyrio now, and he's probably still got his network of little birds. So, there's ravens flying back and forth. Varys isn't out of the running just yet. I'm not of a mind to say that he would necessarily be executed. I think he is very good at reading the room and situations, and he would be in all those hidden tunnels and be gone before anybody thought to come looking for him once Brandon took over.
Yeah. And I think, that also brings up a little bit point above Jon Snow. What would happen with Jon Snow if that would go down? Because I don't think they would have, if
he's not a Snow.
If he's a Targaryen and they find out she's dead and this is Rhaegar's son, I don't see Rickon Stark killing him. I don't see Ned Stark.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't even grow up.
Hide Jon. So
he doesn't grow up Jon Snow. He grows up Jon Stark.
Yeah, where does he? You think they just take him in?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if anything in this story, Starks are always about family. So if Leon, even whether Lyanna lives or dies, Jon still gets legitimized, and he grows up Jon Stark.
Yeah, he would definitely, even though he would be probably, people would think of him as the heir. I don't think that he has that baby killing like Robert's, like he's got to die.
Yeah.
Because he's the heir. I don't think the Starks, like he has Stark blood. So even if he did rule, it'd still be a Stark
It's still a Stark on the throne. Yep.
So I think that he would probably get sent to Ned and raised with Ned up there. And did we give Ned a wife when he went up there? We didn't.
We did not. But there's something else that just jumped into my head though. Instead of going back north, again, Benjen's still there. So if Ned doesn't go back north, then Benjen is the Stark that's in Winterfell, and Ned goes to Dragonstone, and he's Lord there.
He could go to Dragonstone.
Like, I mean, I know they say that's like the prince's or the future ruler's castle, but nobody's there right now. So give that to Ned.
He could hold it until, but they still have
exactly. He would hold it for him, right? There would be no issues in the future. Once the Crown Prince comes to, maybe start training up outside of King's Landing and home, Ned's there to handle it, and then he ships him off when it's time to be king.
Yeah, because Rob would definitely, it's going to be Rob's spot, and Catelyn's not having it. How she gets down. Her son's going. That would be the whole thing. Like Jon Snow wouldn't have a chance to sit the throne because Catelyn's like, no. Rob is cooking. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, so, and Brandon's going to be of that mind too. Like, he's definitely going to put his kids first. He's got love for his nephew. Don't mistake it. And he's going to make sure his nephew grows up fine and doesn't have all these insecurities about being a bastard. But he's not going to skip over his own kids to put Jon on the throne.
Yeah,
and I can't blame him for that.
As Lord Corley's Wi-Fi says, when you Stark kids get to die, well, if there are no Stark kids.
There are no Stark kids. Without Ned and Catelyn being there and having all those kids, the magic blood that they both have does not get passed on the same way.
It's done. There's no kids. There's no Arya. There's no Sansa. There's no Rickon, and there's no Bran. They all don't exist in this situation, right?
Yeah, I mean there will be kids coming. But the only ones that we know for sure will be there from the original story is Rob and Jon.
It's true to say, in fact, Arthur Dayne would likely kill Brandon Stark. Now, I don't see it. I'm not saying he couldn't kill him, but he wouldn't have been able to kill him in that. If
Arthur Dayne has Dawn, Brandon's done.
Yeah, but if it's the same exact situation and with Ned is Brandon, and they're not just going to roll with those 7 people. They're going to roll with more people. And if it's all those people roll and Brandon's there, then no, not at all.
It would have happened in King's Landing, though, wouldn't it? Their initial fight?
I'm saying if they went after Lyanna the same way. And they said,
if they went after Lyanna the same way, then
Brandon was in the company with them, then no, Arthur Dayne's not killing Brandon. Brandon's a good fighter. He could fight him by himself, let alone with 7 people. You know what I mean?
KP, you came in late. That's why you don't know the answer to that question. We went through all those plot points.
We definitely did go through all those, KP. You definitely have to hit the rewind on that, brother.
Yeah, there's too much to go over again.
And all that. So you know what I mean? I think that, I don't see him killing him, me personally. One-on-one, I would think I would give it to him. But I think people are sleeping on Brandon. Brandon is like Rhaegar.
They both are good fighters.
He's like Robert Baratheon. He's like that. Robert and them used to look up to Brandon. Like Robert Baratheon.
Yeah, especially Robert.
He was looking up to Brandon. That's how good Brandon was, So I don't know if he could do that.
I don't know that he could beat Arthur Dayne though.
Not one-on-one, but in that situation with all those people with him, he's gonna beat him. With all those people they're fighting, Arthur Dayne ain't beating them all. He ain't beating them. What they say,
it's only because Howland came in with
a pack of mangy dogs could take down a lone lion. He's talking about
true enough.
It's not a mangy dog. This is Brandon Stark, Ned Stark, and the rest of them. He ain't winning.
But if they went to the Tower of Joy, they would also be fighting the best of the best. Granted, though, that's not a guaranteed win. It's just going to be a bit longer battle than Ned had.
When I look at the Tower of Joy people, the only one there that I really see is Arthur Dayne. The other ones, they got their King's Guardsmen in name, just like this.
Geralt?
Harold.
You don't think Geralt has skills?
I'm saying they're good, but they're like Slint. You know what I mean? He was a King's Guardsman. He wasn't that good. Cyril for
don't you dare defile his good name. Compare him to Slint. Stop it.
I'm just saying that there are King's Guard. I mean, they beat him. The only one was left was Arthur Dayne. So those guys who went down there were able to take them out. This is not the dream team. This is
that's what I just said. It's going to be a longer battle than Ned.
If it was Sir Barristan and Arthur Dayne and the big dudes, then yes, you're not gonna. Then it's a problem. You know.
Yeah, Barristan barely made it off the battlefield. I wouldn't count him to sway the tides at all. Mm-mm. Sadly, as good of a fighter as he is, he did not make it out uninjured.
No, but Robert said he cut down so many men. That's why he had so much respect for him.
Well, yeah, and he's from the Stormlands, so yeah.
So and as we talked about a little bit earlier, I don't even think it comes down to that situation because I think it's an easier win for them. I don't think it's a struggle like it was for Robert and Ned. They don't have to do all that.
Yeah, Ned doesn't have to sneak back into the north. And like we said at the beginning, the huge linchpin is Brandon not going south right away and being an idiot. So since he didn't do that, there are many other paths. Can't really call too much on Baelish, but I do agree with you. It could still end up the same way. Let's see. We got Dragonstone taken care of. Varys and pretty much everybody is gone. What's his name? Tywin's man. That was the maester. Pycelle. He's gone either back to the Citadel or back to the Westerlands.
Just bring down the maester from Winterfell. He would be the
everybody. What's his name? Flowers. Wasn't that he was a flower?
Yeah.
He would be there. No, not Maester Luwin. The guy that was there before Maester Luwin.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
I think it was something Flowers.
Yeah, he would come down there and do that without that. We have another super chat from the beautiful Jenna S. Thank you so much. Do you think Blood Raven would reach out to Brandon directly?
No, there's no Brandon for her to reach out to.
Yeah. We'll have to. We'll get into stuff like drop. We'll get into that North stuff and everything in a second, darling. We're just about done.
Yeah. What reason do we? What? I'm sorry, not reason, but what region do we have?
Well, it would be the White Walkers situation when we reach that White Walker situation and everything else. Because you wouldn't. So we're still dealing with the Dany situation and all that. So I still think Dany and Viserys has a good chance.
It's still the Beggar King and his little sister. I think
they still may have to go away, but maybe, because it goes down like this. Does Tywin... I don't think Tywin has to do what he does to King's Landing.
No.
Sack it.
He doesn't.
I think they'll sack it before Tywin gets there. So you don't have the Mountain going in there and doing anything like that. And I don't think that if he did kill those kids, that the Starks would think it's a good deed. I think that they would
not at all.
Kill these kids. I'm going to kill you now.
That would have been the thing to cancel the Lannisters out right there. If that happens in this scenario, Tywin is done.
No doubt about it. Thank you for the super chat. Very generous, John Pierce. Sorry I'm late, Tef. I know you be killing up in here. I'll be trying. I don't know, but I'll be trying, bro. We trying. We trying to get it. We trying to get it going and everything else. We trying. But thank you so much. I truly appreciate that, man. 100%. Yeah, so I don't think so, but so I think the Beggar King, they may escape with their mother, or they may escape to Dorne. And
Yeah,
they
if
may
she
not go there.
survives.
If she survives, then
Mhm.
she may just take her kids and go to Dorne, and then she be plotting in the background to get her kids on the throne. Without
Would
a
she
doubt.
be?
I mean, listen,
Well,
everyone's gonna want their kids
I don't
to
know
do
that
it.
I don't know that Elia would actually be trying to go out for power like that. Doran might try to put something into play, and Oberyn, he's a hothead too. He might try to do something, but
Yeah.
I don't think it would be her ambition to get either one of those kids back on the throne. She would just be happy that she survived and she has her kids at least, and she's back home with her family.
Yeah, I just think that when you sit the Iron Throne, there's enough more, enough in you, enough people to try to put it on you. Like, listen, you know, they are the ones who should be ruling your kids. We got to try to get them back on the throne. There's always people talking behind the scenes, and it could be a situation like that. I could see that being a problem later on. They would have to deal with. They would have to deal with her.
That is
So
possible.
it either would go down like that. To
It would
say
be
that
Doran pulling those strings, though. I really don't think it would be Elia.
yeah, and maybe they all would Elia they escape to Dorne and not to Dorne, but across the narrow
And
sea.
you think they would go to the narrow sea instead of going home?
I would think they would go home. I think she'd feel safer going home.
Yeah, her and her kids I think, are fine. And I'm pretty sure, again, Brandon's not about killing kids. As long as they stay in Dorne, he's not going to care too much about it.
Yeah, that's not the Stark way to do that.
Yeah, Danny and Viserys, they still go to Essos.
Yeah, they would.
They might still be with Lord Derry, but there's also a high probability that Varys makes his way to them and starts some things popping off too. But then that has to call into play what would happen with Fagon.
Yeah, so it depends if Varys. So the whole thing with Fagon is that there's no Fagon. If he's really alive, he can't pass him off as that.
No,
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
the only reason he's able to say he's Fagon is because, the real Fagon was killed, and they're saying he wasn't killed, right? So then you got the John Connington situation and everything else. You wouldn't have John Connington there, who was in love with Rhaegar.
Yeah, John Con would probably be dead.
He would either be, he may not have made it out the battle.
I don't think he would have made it out of battle.
I don't know if he would have made it out the battle because, John Con was all about that. I want to kill Robert Baratheon by myself in one-on-one combat to prove it to Rhaegar.
Which was so damn stupid. They could have won if his dumbass wouldn't have did that.
If he went up against Brandon one-on-one, I think John Con gets killed.
Easily.
I think Brandon takes him right out. So if
Easily.
and that's what he wanted to do. That's the reason why Robert was able to escape, because he, instead of burning the whole city down, he wanted to go door to door.
He wanted to go door to door, which gave them time to ring the bells and alert Robert. And where the hell was Robert? In a damn whorehouse in the middle of the war, not giving a fuck. Well, actually, no, he probably was giving several fucks, knowing him.
Yep.
But yeah,
like, listen, I'm going out. I'm going out with a smile on my face. And that's it. But that whole thing with John Con, that purpose, he would still have that purpose. If he ever got a chance to go in front of Brandon, I think Brandon would have wiped the floor.
Yeah, that would have been an easy win. That would have been an easy win.
He would have got his. I think he would have been done. So you wouldn't have that whole Fagon's do it. If there's a black.
Yeah, you're right. Fagon doesn't. No, Fagon doesn't really exit. That plot point. That kind of gets erased.
I think that he can come, but he's gonna come as a straight Blackfire of what he really is. Like if the Blackfires have another rebellion, he's gonna have another Blackfire rebellion, and that could still go down because if you still have Illyrio Malpatis and he's trying to get his son on the Iron Throne, which it's his son. People don't know that's his son. Fagon is Illyrio Malpatis'
Illyrio's son. Yep.
People don't know that, and maybe don't, but he is. I quote the Don on this. We pulled the strings. He definitely is Illyrio's son, and with his last wife, who was a Blackfire,
Sarah, right? Sarah Blackfire.
Sarah, who got grayscale, and that's why he's doing this whole situation. You know what I mean? So He would just come across as a Blackfire, and there would be another Blackfire rebellion. And if they used Viserys and Daenerys for that, it possibly could go down like that, because his whole plan, the plan was to have, the Dothraki go over there, try to take the Iron Throne, and then have these Targaryens come and save the day. And then here comes the Targaryens to save the day, and everybody loves the Targaryens for saving the day. That was his plan. Now, you could still see that from Dorne. You could see that there's Targaryens there. That's the whole thing. The Blackfires would have to fight them, because you still have legitimate Targaryens sitting in Dorne right now, too. So you have a bunch of Targaryens around. So you have Jon, half Targaryen, which is Rhaegar's son. If you really wanted to make a claim, that's the claim to make. If anyone say who should sit the throne, it would have to be Jon Snow. Everyone would have to say that, and he'd be in the north, being raised as a Stark.
Yeah, and I don't think he would grow up wanting the throne. And Jon's one of those people, his character has very epic moments because he's a commander that was never actually seeking command. If that makes sense. He took on the responsibility when needs were dire and it had to be done, and he popped in. Can you test my camera out real quick? I'm kind of sitting in the shadows, but
you are in the background right now. I see you in the background, but we'll let it roll for a little bit, and if it stays up there and there's no blinking, then we'll put you back on. No doubt about it. We'll definitely do that and stuff like that. Right now.
So do you think the Dothraki still come into play? Like it falls to Dany? And actually, do you think that with the absence of Rhaegar now, they actually put all of that attention into Viserys?
It depends, if Viserys, if he wants the throne for himself, and they would still do the same thing. But I do think that there's a good possibility that the dragon still could get born here.
Because Dany still goes to Essos, so
yeah, you could.
I think that runs.
Yeah.
And KP, I agree. I don't think there's any direwolves here. I think someone earlier had said that Bloodraven would reach out to Jon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how that would work.
Yeah, Bloodraven is.
He's looking for a green seer. Jon is only a ward.
Yeah, there's no green seer that we see. That was it. Without Brandon Stark there is no, unless somehow they have more than one kid, Catelyn and Brandon, and one of them become a green seer, which is possible.
It's possible, but then
bloodline, so it's possible that one of them.
Wouldn't that child have to be raised in the north, though?
Or Ned has a wife, and
we said Ned was at Dragonstone.
Well, we said that that's a possibility, but if he did take the north, and he was given the north because his father's eventually going to pass away and he's in line, he goes back up there. He would have to take a wife. I think his wife would probably be Lady Dustin. That's who I would put him with, because
it's the same situation with Brandon and Catelyn. Brandon died, so he married Catelyn. So now, of course, Ned stayed getting his brother's seconds. Fuck.
Yeah, I think he would have to be. I think he would be Lady Dustin.
You're right, because they would need to appease her.
Yeah, they would have to have somebody, and she was already wanting it. She's already wanted the Stark, so she definitely would take any Stark she can get.
Yeah, that's her biggest problem. She's mad, just like Theon. She can never actually be a Stark.
Yeah, so you would have that situation. Now
you don't hold no lifelong grudges like that, just for no reason.
Another super chat. Thank you so much, NS. Do you think Viserys would still be a POS?
He would be worse.
If he
would be worse.
Yeah, he would be. He would be beside himself.
Like, no spoilers, but for y'all in the chat, look at the last week's What If episode and how Tony was acting. That's exactly how Viserys would be. You leave him in that position and you actually give him power that's filtering in, he ends up being even more of an asshole. See, you laughing because you see the comparison.
Don is not an asshole. Don's a dick. I'm a dick.
No,
and dicks fuck pussies and assholes. That's why I'm a dick. I'll admit that I'm a dick. I am a dick. There's no doubt about it. I am, because dicks.
And there's Viserys. I mean, at least you're self-aware. Viserys isn't that self-aware.
Yeah, I know I can be a dick. No, I have to be. Sometimes you need a dick to fuck pussies and assholes. That's what I'm here for. That's my job.
Man, that's your job. But do you? I don't judge.
That's
So
my.
I do need to go refill my drink for the rest of the conversation, though.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead and everything. It says she's saying who takes bridge 4. She said good call with Patchface, similar with Arian Dampere. Let's keep our eyes on Sandars in the winds. I gotta look at the other one with that to know exactly what that is. Bridge 4. To know exactly what you're talking about and stuff. AK is refilling her beverage and everything. I said, no, listen, you have to be self-aware. I'm all about that. Robert Smart, I love multiverse talk. This is multiverse stuff, I'm all about that multiverse stuff and everything else. Let's see. Lady Dustin would still be married though, right? No war, no rebellion. Her husband's still kicking. I mean,
no. Well, there was still a war in this scenario, yeah.
It was.
So, and there is still the possibility of them going to the Tower of Joy and him still dying.
Yeah, it's always a good chance that a lot of the war plays out the same. I think the war would be easier won. You know what I mean? But whether he dies or not, we'll see. I mean, it's all up for debate whether it would go down like that or not.
It is, yeah. This is all speculations. It's the multiverse.
And this is the reason why me and Phil we enjoy doing these things, because there's no right or wrong answer here.
At all. Yeah, there's so many things that could happen.
It's just what the way you see it and everything else like that, But I still think that if you had to put a Ned with someone, it most likely would be Lady Dustin would finally get her start that she won.
As far as we know. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Daisy in the books, I believe, was around Rob's age.
Mm-hmm.
Is Alysanne older than her, or is she younger?
Younger than who? Lady Dustin?
No, Alysanne Mormont. Mage's daughters.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think Daisy was a little bit older than Rob, but she was a part of his Kingsguard. And I can't remember if Alysanne is younger or older than her. I mean, either way, I think the ages are close enough that if it's not Lady Dustin, then he could end up marrying Alysanne.
It would have to be someone with a that really like it would have to be some type of reason why they would need him. You know what I mean?
Oh, Alysanne is younger. Okay, thank you.
And everything. So I think if we had to pick one, I'm going with Lady Dustin.
Yeah. I mean, without us deep diving into the family trees, she's one of the only women in the North of that age that were prominent in the story for us to remember. So she's kind of the only one.
Yeah, I would definitely go with her. I think that she would be the person that we would have to look at if we were looking at anybody. From the whole for Ned to be married to. Which lady?
For you folks in the chat that just came in, Miss Minutes tried to come erase me from the timeline, so I had to go to the Matrix to evade capture.
Well, I think that you're up.
I think I made it out. I think
you're good. I think you're up and running. So we can put you back up. We can put the video back up and everything else and like that and all that good stuff. Shout out to everyone that came in. Siren Thomas came in here, hanging out and stuff like that. And she's chilling with everybody. I don't think I said what up to a reflective rambling. I've seen you about the whole time. I don't think I had enough. Enough said. Sure enough.
Greetings
to you.
Who did your art there? Enough said. I like that.
That is very good. And speaking about art, I am getting a tattoo, a new tattoo on October 10th is the day I go there. So the Don will have a new tattoo. October 10th, where people, the next thing everyone asks if you get a tattoo is, what are you getting, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting the phrase "C'est la vie." That's what I'm getting.
You know what? That is not what my brain first thought of.
No.
Because I heard Frey and I was like, what the fuck you tattooing a Frey on your body for?
No. It's going to be C'est la vie. I'm getting C'est la vie. In the style, I don't know how it's going to be or anything else, but it'll be on probably right across here is most likely where it'll be. It'll probably say La Vie right here. That's probably where it'll go. If not, it'll go on the inside of this arm. It'll be in one of the other spots. I don't know. It'll be one of them, but I'll get that done.
Yeah, I think I've been thinking about getting one on my forearm too, but it would be a quill.
See, Siren got to come here and talk about after dark shit. You know,
What's happening now?
Siren making after dark comments. You know, there's a reason why those streams get erased, right?
Oh man, hey man, look, you the one to be putting these stories in the ether, man.
Yeah, but there's rules to this shit. There's rules to this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? There's rules. That's just what it's after dark stream.
I guess.
Yeah, you guess. They are supposed to stay there. All right, we got a super chat here for John Pierce. Thank you so much. Very generous for you to do so and everything else. That in this scenario, who wins, Ariel Hotar or Jaime Lannister? I know that the show's BS, but in interest nonetheless. What up, AK? You slay too.
Thank you, good sir.
If Jaime Lannister has one hand, then it's Ariel Hotar.
Yeah, there'd have to be a whole other thing happening years later.
Yeah. I'm doing a stream. What if Jaime Lannister never lost his hand? We're doing that. That's gonna be a what if. You know,
I think in this scenario, it's more likely that he still has both hands. And in that case, Ario's a great fighter. And it's not gonna be a short battle, but I think he still wins in the end. Jaime wins.
It's all about the weapons, I think, at this particular time.
It's weapons and speed.
And that would be the only thing that would give it problems. But I would give it to Jaime Lannister as much as I would.
As much as I dislike that, the man had skills. He was a cocky little shit, but he could back it up on the battlefield.
And everything else. So we definitely we're doing when we do the video, the what if video, if Jaime Lannister never lost his hand, we will go through every situation Jaime been in and what would have happened if he never lost his hand and everything else. We'll talk about all of that and everything else like that.
So where are we moving to? I think we handled Essos. A lot of those are gonna play out the same way with Viserys taking Aegon's spot.
This is what I think would happen. So if Dany did get these dragons and she's over there and she's doing her thing like that, just like we've seen in the books, basically, I think that Dorne could go towards Dany and then with the dragons.
Because Ellia's there with her kids.
She's there with her kids.
That could be the marriage pact right there if we want to keep it to blooded Targaryens.
Yeah, I think that they could push
marry her to her nephew. Yeah,
I think they could push it and say, hey, let's move let's have the same type of rebellion. I think that would be an issue that Brandon and them would have to deal with. Would be that whole Dorne situation hooking up with Daenerys. I still think she would have 3 dragons.
She would still get the dragons. Yep.
You know what I mean?
I think Khal Drogo probably that still plays out the exact same way.
Yeah, that would have to play out the same exact way in order for the dragons to be born. You would have to have.
Viserys might get killed earlier, though. Yeah, I feel like just the way his mouth was. Again, it's like the Tony Stark reference I made. He's an even bigger asshole here, so he's not gonna be patient at all by any means. And Drogo's gonna look at him like, yeah, okay, let's kill the little king. Here's your crown, bitch.
Yeah, no, he would go. There'd be no way around it. He would have to go and everything else. So,
and Jorah would still be over there, so all that still goes down.
Have to go because they still want him for slavery. He still have to go and everything else to it.
The only thing that's different is Barristan doesn't go to Essos.
Yeah, Barristan would have no need. I think he would stay.
Yeah, he's still on the Kingsguard.
He would stay.
I think Brandon would keep him.
Yeah, John Pierce, thank you for the super chat. Says truly from his chap, I think Hotar quite a killer. I am not saying that Hotar.
Oh, he's got skill. Yeah, don't take what we said as shade. No, the man can fight.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that from what we've heard, and that's all we can go on is what we heard. I think that Jamie Lannister may be a little more skilled from him and may be able to take him out with two hands. Jamie Lannister was fearsome with two hands. I think that in the show and everything else, when you see him with one hand, you lose how good he truly was. I mean, he's no half hand, because the half hand,
Yeah, the half hand don't matter whether he has one or two
yeah,
hands.
the half
He's
hand
fucking you up.
became as good a fighter and everything else like that. Now, KP is saying he fights with a spear and he fights with a sword. Jamie dies. That's not doesn't happen. I wouldn't say that would.
Not necessarily.
I don't say that. Listen, you have a reach advantage, of course,
But you gotta be quick.
but that doesn't mean you can't get in on. I mean, me and Bridget, you look at the video that we did, who's the greatest fighter in Westeros, that with Bridge 4, take a look at that. We talked about that, and we used weapons and everything else, and we put weapons into the play. I think the Warhammer is the biggest decisive weapon out of all of them, but
yeah, because that crushes your chest.
Yeah, there's
still
still
everything.
It's the spear and all that. It's still plate mail in front of it. It's not going to be able to penetrate like a hammer would.
Yeah,
so,
the aim would have to be extremely precise, and I'm not sure that Arya would be fast enough to catch it. And also, you could look at how the fight between Jamie and Ned was choreographed. Yeah, Jamie had the sword, but he didn't necessarily beat Jory. Sorry, yeah, not Ned, Jory. He didn't beat Jory with his sword. They were fighting, but then he just, did okey doke, used his other hand to pull out the dagger and cut him down right there. So he might have to play dirty to win, but he's gonna still win.
Jamie's not playing around. He's a really good player. So I just don't know. Yeah, you have the reach advantage, but if he gets inside of
But if he gets past you, yeah, Arya has no other defense. He only wears copper chainmail.
Yeah, and if you look at, we talk about, boxing for a second here, because I'm an expert in boxing, and I boxed for many years of my life. A lot of people have a reach advantage. A lot of people have reach advantage over Joe Frazier, over Mike Tyson, but that reach advantage was nullified when they got on the inside and they beat him up on the inside. So it's just about if you have the skill to get on the inside. If he had enough skill to get inside of him, then it would be a wrap for him. If he had enough skill to keep him on the outside, it'd be a wrap for Jamie. So
John Pierce is actually right though in his correction. It's a long axe that he has.
Yeah,
not a spear. There's a big difference.
There is. It's a bigger blade, but I still think it's a blade. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. And you're exactly right, Jenna S. Everyone has an advantage till you get rocked in the jaw. That's correct.
There are very few fighters that I've seen been able to take headbangers to the jaw and still keep going without flinching. Very, very few.
I would say, we talked about this before. Getting punched in the face is not a natural occurrence. It's not a natural fate. That's why when you fight someone and you punch them in the face, they get shocked. It's like they can't. It's a shocking. It sends a different thing through your body, and then you get that response. Fight or flee, and a lot of people flee instead of fight because you get that adrenaline.
Unless they fall unconscious, and if they get clipped the right way.
Yeah, if you get caught in the jaw and you're out, it's lights out. So. I'm gonna go with Jamie Lannister. From everything I've read in the books and everything else, I think that it points towards Jamie Lannister beating.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? I think that's just what. Look at KP with the ja. Does he speak Spanish with the ha ha instead of saying ja?
Yeah, that is actually the Spanish equivalent of ha ha.
I know. He must be getting Spanish or something and everything else. Maybe that's what it is.
I'm just saying, Braun who fights with honor. I don't even think Braun ever comes into play in this scenario.
All right,
Braun is still a random non-entity.
Yeah, Braun's not a fact.
Because Catelyn's not going to be at the end to find him.
Exactly. So all right, we're gonna wrap up soon because I usually don't do over an hour on these.
Yeah, hour and a half. So we got to handle the North and the White Walkers, right?
All right, the White Walkers situation going. So the White Walkers are still coming, and I think that number one, if Brandon is still sitting on Iron Throne, he believes it. I don't think that it comes down to, and they don't believe that the White Walkers exist, and I think he'd be more about believing it and would be willing to send the army up there. What do you think?
I fully agree. So, let's say Benjen does still end up going to the wall for whatever reason. He sees what's happening. He talks with Lord Commander Mormont. They get and send proof because it's a small little blurb in the book, but there was like an undead hand or something that was sent to King's Landing, but because Tyrion let it sit there for so long because he was being petty, it completely, it broke down. So you couldn't see anything of magic or of it still being alive, cut from a limb or whatever. When that happens this time, Brandon doesn't hesitate at all. He not only sends, the North, he literally rallies the whole realm and pushes that army up there, and he's probably leading the battle himself.
Probably he likes that stuff. I think.
And it's Brandon. Brandon is a lot like Robert when it comes to making friends. He's a social butterfly. So it might not happen right away, but all of those meetings with like John and Mance, all of that happens with Brandon. Mm-hmm. And he's getting all that going. So there's alliances made. I don't know how they're going to handle it. Honestly, I don't think Brandon's going to really care about somebody not wanting to bend the knee. He's going to be of a mind like, look, this shit needs to be done. If this is the payment, you need lands south, come through. We'll set y'all up over here. All you got to do is just obey the rules. Don't piss nobody off. Don't kidnap or steal from nobody. Do your thing. Pay your taxes, and we're good. And now he's got giants, wargs, skin changers, all manner of random ass beasts on his side to fight these things. And again, like you and Phil said last time, with that prep time, everything stops at the wall.
It stops at the wall, and I think this is the whole thing. People always like bring up like the dragons, like you need the dragons to beat the White Walkers. They beat the White Walkers without the dragons. Like the first time the White Walkers were defeated, there were no dragons, and they still beat them. So the dragons will only be a hindrance, for them. If they can get their hands on a dragon, it becomes a bad thing. But you don't need the dragons to beat the White Walkers because they've already been defeated without dragons. So I think that it would definitely stop at the wall again. I don't think they make it past the wall.
Yeah, it goes nowhere past the wall.
I think they would defeat the White Walkers, and and that's just what it was, and everything else. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, and half of those things, like especially with the wildlings, if they really don't, the wildlings complain about shit, but they still love their lands. Otherwise, they would have found a way to get away from there and never go back many moons ago. So there's 19 castles at the wall. And there's lands that are connected to all of those castles. Actually, I'm going to say 18 because nobody is going to want to go to the Night Fort. And I would recommend that no one ever go to the Night Fort. But all the rest of those castles, fix them up. Start having people settle in those lands. Farming and animals coming in, all types of trade now going to the north. And they're prospering along with the rest of the kingdoms a lot better than they were in the original story. Mm-hmm. So all of that, everything's manned. Things are shored up. They get back to having that like 2-mile difference between the tree line and the wall that they used to have. So it's far more in place and far more battle ready. So that's done. I am curious. What do you think about Hardhome? How do you think that would be an issue still?
I do. I do think that would still be an issue. I think everything that happened up there would still be a problem and everything else. Jackie C says, do we really know for sure dragons weren't used in the first Blown Night? From everything we know, there were no dragons.
There were no dragons there.
I mean
technically, I want to say the White Walkers actually won because there was at least one whole generation, according to Old Nan, that lived they were born, they lived, and then they died in darkness. Yeah. White Walkers won, but there were still humans surviving. I would assume that I don't think everybody was just hiding underground. There was some type of things made, and the White Walkers were ruling, but then something else happened and some other pact was made, and they went back north of the wall. I don't think there was a fight that actually stopped them.
Yeah, no, there was no dragons, because if there were dragons, it would have been documented that there were dragons. That's see, the whole thing is this. this is what makes, Danny's dragons and everything else special, and all these dragons. There's been no dragons around. Supposedly there was no Targaryens around and everything else when this whole thing set off.
Yeah, way back when with the Children of the Forest.
It was nothing like that. There was none of them around to do. There's no dragon lords. There was none of that at that particular time to fight. The reason why they were able to defeat the White Walkers the first time is because they had dragon glass. And that's what it took. The dragon glass was all they needed to push them back, and it didn't truly beat them. They pushed them back beyond the wall.
Yeah.
So they didn't defeat them. They just pushed them out of their lands, and then the children gassed them and said, "Hey, put this wall up, and they'll never come back again, and this will defeat them." So that's
Which
what
is
we
still
know.
a whole other conversation in itself. You gonna
I
tell me
can't go
some
into
ice
all
zombies are stopped by a wall of ice?
Yeah, that would have
Suspect.
to. Yeah, it's very suspect. We have to go into a whole different show. But from what we know, we can only go on what we know.
Yeah,
And
what we know.
What we know that they weren't there.
There were
And-
no dragons. Eventually, Danny is still going to come over after that's all said and done. I don't know that it would fully go into a fight because I think it still rolls around somewhat the same way. There's no crazy king on the throne that's, setting seps and council halls on fire with wildfire.
Yeah, you would have to. I mean, if Danny came, if somehow she got the dragons over there with Dorne, and she had Dorne and them behind her back, and
she would have to go to Dorne.
And she came and she went to overthrow them. I could see them actually winning that war with the 3 dragons. It's possible that they would be able to overthrow them, and that would be the only way that I see them losing the throne to Starks at that particular time. But again, they have Jon, who has a more legitimate claim than any of those people there. So
That
it
is
would be
true.
hard for them to say, hey, we should have the throne because we have the most legitimate claim. We have Rhaegar's son. If anyone has a thing, it's going to be him. So it would be hard to say, unless they just really wanted to take it, and they just took it for that reason. It would be hard to say that there's nothing they could say. They don't have a better claim than Jon.
Yeah, and Jon, again, he wouldn't be Jon Snow. He would be growing up as Jon Stark in this scenario, and he's going to back his Stark family. Okay, he recognizes Rhaegar was his dad. Fine. You are Rhaegar's little sister. Okay. Hi, Auntie. How you doing? You going to have to calm this shit down, though, because I ain't going against my family, and if you really want that fight, it's probably still going to happen, but I think it doesn't have to be as violent, I guess, as it is, because she doesn't have the stronghold that is Dragonstone now. So the only place she could land and go to first is Dorne, and a lot of kingdoms don't mess with Dorne like that. But again, like you said, it does come down to the dragons, and even with the United Kingdom, I suppose they could beat them, but it's going to be a stretch, a long ass stretch to see how that's going to play out.
Exactly.
There's too many variables there.
I mean, if he was going to get overthrown, that would be the only way. If not, then I think they beat the White Walkers back. I don't think that's even a problem for them to beat the White Walkers back.
No, they get that handled.
They take that down, and he sits the throne until Robb takes it over. And it's pretty much an easy life. I know people can say, "Oh, it might be an easier life unless Littlefinger poisons him somehow, finds a way." There's a chance that he could do it. If he's on it, there's a chance that he could take him out. Is there a chance? Yes, and I think that most likely something like that would probably, the way he writes these books, something like that
could happen.
Littlefinger would have took Brandon out that way, and then it would have been Catelyn sitting the Iron Throne until Robb came of age.
Yeah, something like that. But alongside with that, though, if you look at it, there wouldn't necessarily have to be a war. I mean, yeah, she's got dragons. I get that. But if you have some negotiations that happen, and we did see, negotiations were going down in the show, there's a possibility that Robb could actually marry Danny. Again, which slides in with what you and Phil did with the last scenario.
Yep.
So and if they marry, she's on the throne. And now we got 3 dragons. So, I mean, it's lightweight a win-win for everybody.
It could be, it'd be easier. Marry Robb to Daenerys, and it's game over.
And that squashes it. Now you just got to make sure the Dothraki can actually be handled, or you just ship their ass back to Essos.
Yeah, it's a done deal. I mean, bottom line is Danny, you know, we've seen in the show that she comes over, you know, and Tyrion tells her, you have to be single in case you have to make a marriage pact.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the marriage pact that she
And
made
there's the marriage pact
with Rob, like, boom, here you go. You marry Rob, we put you on there and everything else and stuff like that. I think that handles that whole situation and wraps it in a very neat bow.
Yeah, that squashes it.
For the super chat, Fernandez T. Whoop, just got off work. Chair. I truly appreciate that. Corley's is saying it's certainly interesting to think about. I mean, Danny did have the vision of the old empire of the Dawn Kings, and that they were telling her, "Wake the dragon." You know, it could be. I think that it's.
I think that still happens.
Yeah, I think all that jumps off, and I think it's a more manageable situation without a war. Danny sits Iron Throne at the end with Robb Stark, and there you go, King Robb and Daenerys, and there you go.
Did you see Jess's comment?
What did she say?
She said the White Walkers are going to sneak in through the crypts and try to raise the dead Starks. See, Jess, you've been following us for a while. You know, I've said that in several of the Tinfoil Thursdays that I used to do. I think all of those tunnels underground are connected, and it is possible to get in there. But the main thing is, I don't think those Starks can be pulled out by the White Walkers because specifically of the iron that's holding them in. It has to be a Stark to call them out. But that again causes turmoil because some of those iron swords have rusted away.
Yeah, I
over
think
the years.
that when you talk about how they have the where woods are all connected underground, I think it's the same situation with the tunnel from there.
All them tunnels.
I think that's how, when it comes down in the end, that I don't think they stopped them at Winterfell like they did in the show. I think that was just
they at least get to the God's Eye.
A quick thing going on. So I think that they escaped through those tunnels. That's how they get out of there and everything else like that. You know what I mean? So listen, you can check my videos and you can see these theories that I've made up about this over 8 years ago. All right. Yeah. And you could see it. And, you know, and I know somebody was talking on Twitter the other day, talking about Blood Raven and everything else. I'm the one who made the Blood Raven Crasher theory up. That's my theory. I'm the one who came up with that. And anyone who wants to say anything different, you can check the video, check my date, and you won't see anyone who has anything posted before I put that. I made that theory up. Period, point blank, end the story. You know what I mean? People forget sometimes, you know, when we out there for a while and stuff like that, and they hear something, you know, and they think it's new or something like that, and they forget who actually did it. You know what I'm saying? But you can check the history on it and everything else, and you see it. But I have a billion theories and all that good stuff. You go look at these videos and everything else, and Monster and all of that stuff. You go check those videos. They're actually in the description links and all that stuff. So you could definitely do that.
The playlists are also on this channel. So y'all can find them pretty easy.
You know, so that is this way. So I think we have covered it all.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Covered it all. And as always, at the end of these streams, I give you out 10 minutes.
Oh, actually, wait, hold on. 1 second. House Bolton. Do you think Ramsay still comes into play, and does he still poison Domeric? Because you said Ned marries Lady Dustin now. So he's going to meet Domeric because she fostered him. So I think that has the possibility of still happening.
It may still happen, but Ramsay and the Boltons, I don't think they have a chance.
You think they even become a thing?
No, I don't think they ever have a chance to overthrow Ned Stark ahead of Winterfell at all. I don't think that they would even attempt to do it. There's no end. They did that because they had Tywin Lannister was sitting at the hand of the king.
True.
So he had him, you know, giving him the lands.
Yeah.
There's no one here to give you the lands. So there'd be no sense of him even trying to go out there and try to do anything like that. You know what I mean? So I think the Boltons just fall in line and just do what they're supposed to do because there's no one there for them. You know, the Starks basically control everything at this point. I mean,
Rhaegar saw his southern ambitions come true.
Yeah, they control just about every point of this realm right now. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to go into House of the Dragon or anything. I know people who've seen it, but it would be a situation, and that's the way I look at it. If you look at the end of House of the Dragon and when Starks get down there, what happens? That's what I think of Brandon Stark would be like. That I think he would end that.
That's why the when it comes to talking about ancient Starks, Cregan and Theon were them motherfuckers. Cregan came in literally like the ghost of the North with the army, took the handship for one day, slashed a whole bunch of throats,
Let's
and
not
then
give away.
walked off back into the mist of
Just
the
in
North.
case, this case people ain't seen. I don't want to give away too much. I don't like spoiling stuff, even though it's in the
Oh,
book.
that's already in the history and lore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, but I will say that that's the way I see it. As easy as he went down there and did it, I think it would be just as easy for them to pull it up and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And all that good stuff.
Yeah,
So
and most of the things still happen. They just happen in a different order and with different people.
yeah. And I think it's easier way. It's an easier route, and so that's why they couldn't have that, because it would just be too easy for them and stuff like that. Again, all right, I guess that is it. I think we are done with this topic here. I want to thank everybody, especially AK-47, for stepping up and rocking with us.
Thanks for having me on, man.
People know where they can find you and what you got coming up.
Yeah, actually, me and Reflective just put the link in the chat. I'm still going through getting the Expanse experience down with JD. We're in different time zones, so it's hard actually syncing up and finding time to watch where both of us don't have to go to work the next morning. But working on that. I might possibly post some clip reactions for the What If series that's going on now on Disney Plus. Not sure. The immediate things I have coming up is getting some folks and just little short blurbs about random monsters and things around the world and in movies for Halloween. Nothing big. It's going to be like 13 days of Halloween. So at least one small clip video every day is going to be coming out towards the end of October. I got a project that I'm doing with Living My Rhapsody and with TGP. Just putting a random little short story together that we think is going to be a cool herb. That'll be going up on TGP's channel though. So y'all sub to him to find that when it comes out. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I'll be floating around everywhere. So you never know when something's going to come up.
Elma don't talk to me anymore. She's
oh shit! Stop it.
Abandoned me and shit. It's all good.
Ain't nobody abandoned you. Cut it out.
It's all good. Still got love for people. Abandon me and stuff. It's all good. Nope. Oh, we got Andy saying, "What if Tywin lives?" That could be the next topic.
I'm sure you have like 100 by now, but put that on the list. That would be interesting to hear.
Yeah, I would say we'll put that on ahead of the list. I'll see. Next week I'll have Phil here as always. Phil will be back, and I'll ask him about what if Tywin lives and everything else, and we'll see if we can pull that off for you, Angie, next week. I think that's a good topic and everything else. Then you could do that.
Yeah, thank you for the love chat room. I appreciate y'all.
We'll be back here again next week. I'll be here. Phil, the Issues guys will be rocking with me. He'll be all set up and everything else. Again, hopefully I get this computer thing situated and I can start dropping regular videos on a regular basis. Please just hold it down for me. I appreciate you holding it down for me. I will be there. I promise you I will be there and stuff like that. Again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for everybody out here who has came and rocked with us and everything else like that for this whole time. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this. Please spread this across the realm. And as always, please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay safe.